Good afternoon, Earthlings. Good afternoon, everyone. Aaron here, aka AJ, aka Papa. It is February 20th, 2020, and I am back with another vlog to feast your eyes and ears indubitably upon my sweet little morsels of good intention, of sublime relaxation, of joy, of peace, of harmony, of appreciation. I could go on, my sweets. Not gonna lie, guys, I'm a little bit of a mess today, and there's all kinds of noise happening around me right now, but I'm just gonna get the vlog done with the best of ability that I have in this current moment. It is the afternoon. Zach and I slept late, got up, did some delivering this morning, although it was not very busy. So we just did it for a little bit, and then I clocked out pretty quickly after I realized it wasn't going to be very busy today, and then we just did a little shopping and went to the grocery store, got a couple of things from there, and then we went around and just looked at like thrift stores and stuff, nothing too crazy. We did get a really cool painting at the Habitat store. Maybe I'll show you that a little bit later. It's just it's a Buddha painting, but it's huge and it's really neat looking. Other than that, as you may have already noticed, I got new glasses. Zenni Optical hooked it up yet again, and I love that. And I'm not sponsored, but Zenni Optical, Zenni. You can actually go on there, upload a picture of yourself, and try the glasses on the picture. It is a really cool feature, and it's for somebody like me who it's really hard for me to find glasses that look good on me, so it's been a life-saving feature, and they're super cheap. The only thing is they take a while to get to you, but yeah, I'm pretty much always really impressed and pretty happy with what I get. And what's nice about these glasses is since there's less surface area, less actual glass, I have less of an issue with reflecting light and all of that stuff, so I can focus more on just giving you guys content. Aren't I wonderful? Also, you may notice too that there's a plant here now. Hello. I I had to move some things around because we got some more home decor stuff for the house, and so we moved some things around, and that ended up with my little fellow plant being over here, so his little leaves are poking in on the side screen, which I don't see any problem with, and it's kind of nice to have a plant life so close to me while I'm logging. Not much to update in the way of everything that I do on a daily basis. I've been doing the yoga, although I'm still stuck in that slump. I've been reading. I'm a few chapters into Percy Jackson, the third book in the series. Piano practice has been going well. I'm currently working on a sonata that makes me want to rip my hair out. Other than that, we've just been working on the house and getting things kind of reorganized and decorated the way that we want them to. So I think that's about it as far as updating you goes. Oh, I wanted to give you guys an update on Zachary's grandmother. Like some days ago, I had posted that there would be no quote because of Zachary's grandmother and how we were going up to Louisville to see her, and we did do that, and it was nice. She was lucid for some of it, but obviously just not well, and not doing well, and not eating and not drinking, and just, you know, barely able to take the medications and such. Well, since then, between then and now, she has progressed to the point where she is in the hospital now. She wouldn't take any of her pain medications, and she was just in so much pain that they took her to the hospital, and it doesn't look like she'll be able to pass at home like she wanted to, which is unfortunate. But it's, you know, just a matter of days now. So we are just kind of in a holding pattern, not taking on too much in the off chance that, you know, we get that call that she has passed, and then we will do what we need to do to make sure we're there for, you know, funeral and visitation, all that. But at this point, we just would like for her to not be suffering anymore, and not to have to, not for the family to have to go through watching somebody suffer like that. I kind of went through that with my father, and it just is it's really hard to watch. But that's what's going on with that. Well, that's pretty much it for updates and all of the new news that I had to give you. So let's get right on to Zen quote of the day, shall we? Just to be completely transparent with you guys, I really didn't prepare a quote for today. And most of that is just because I realized yesterday that I only had a couple of days left of my vacation from the bookstore, and that really freaked me out because I feel like I just started my vacation, and so I haven't really prepared anything today. I really just kind of wanted to talk about general things and general kind of concepts of abundance and whatnot. And I'm not exactly sure where I'm gonna go with it, but I think that it's nice sometimes to just not have like a hard line idea of where you're going with things, and just to give yourself the opportunity to have a stream of consciousness. And most people do stream of consciousness privately, but I guess I'm gonna do it on camera for you guys. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about abundance and what that means to me, and how it is that I perceive abundance, and just things around abundance, because I think a lot of times we all think we know what abundance is, or we have an idea of what abundance is, and a lot of times what we view as abundance are things that we don't have, and so we consider abundance to be something that is separate from us, and that's why we don't experience a lot. So it's important to recognize abundance in many shapes and forms, and then once you realize that it is constantly around you, you can feel less of a separation and experience more of it in your life. So let's get into it. Obviously, we know that abundance is most of the time considered like the acquisition of things, or money specifically, but having a lot of those things, a lot of money, additional money, extra money, a surplus of money, a surplus of things, a surplus of items, a surplus of goods, stuff like that, right? We always consider that to be abundance, but there's other ways in which we are abundant, and a lot of times we glaze over those things, such as an abundance of good relationships in our life, an abundance of love. If we have an abundance in other ways, such as sometimes we can lack abundance in one area of our life, such as work, but we have plenty of abundance at home. Sometimes we can have plenty of abundance in self-esteem, but have a lack of abundance in relationships. And so it's important to recognize where you do experience abundance and where your weak areas are, because wherever you're feeling a lack of abundance in your life, whatever areas those are, you can be sure that the dialogue that you have about those things within yourself are not healthy. And it bears mentioning that it's important that when you do recognize there's a lack of abundance in an area of your life, to grab your journal and just really work on it. Really write down things that you know to be true about that area of your life, and you will find probably that you have some incongruent statements as to what is actually true and what you believe, and that's very powerful to recognize in your life, because as you recognize when you have negative thought processes about certain areas of your life, you can adjust that perspective to that of a more healthy perspective, and then things will change for the better. Another important thing to consider when you're talking about abundance is that abundance is not necessarily like having such a massive amount of things, or a massive surplus of things that you overflow with it. Sometimes abundance is just having enough plus a little bit more, or just enough, and it just depends on where you come from, because if you come from a background where you've had little to nothing your entire life, and you come to a place in your life where you have enough of everything, that feels incredibly abundant, and if you come from a place where you've had ton of money, or your family came from money, or something to that effect, and you reach a place in your life where you don't have as much as you did before, you can feel a massive amount of lack in that circumstance, even though you may actually have more than the average person has. This is why it's so important to really gain perspective, right? And we really need to make sure that we're having a diverse amount of experiences in our life. And so if you are a person that, for instance, says, oh, well, I feel really abundant in my financial life, but I feel really lacking in my emotional life, chances are you don't do enough social things, or you don't do enough things that help you feel connected to other human beings. And so you have developed a relationship with money, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it has taken the place of your emotional relationships to human beings. or vice versa. Sometimes you have tremendously wonderful emotional relationships in your life, but you can't seem to make any headway financially, and that's because you have much more of a positive outlook on emotional relationships than you do with money. And a lot of times, if you start to delve into why that is the case, the dialogue when it comes to money is pretty negative, such as like, oh, money is the root of all evil, or if I have an excess of money, I have to screw people over to get it, or people who are wealthy are not honest people. And when we have dialogues like that, it really kind of prevents us from having any sort of financial abundance, because we feel like we have to be bad people to have it, and so we subconsciously will shun it. Just like anything else, guys, everything has to do with perspective, right? So we can say time and time again that we are not abundant people, but if we look around and really pay close attention to the things that we do have in our life and compare it to those of, nations that have next to nothing, we would find that we have more than enough, or more than we need. And once we gain perspective on that and feel abundant in the midst of what we have from time to time considered lack, we can find a better perspective on it and say, even though I'm not as comfortable as I could be, I'm still tremendously abundant in many, many ways. And once we start to have a positive dialogue with abundance and start to say, I may lack in this area, but I'm super abundant in this area, and therefore it makes me abundant as a whole. And then once we start to dig into why am I lacking in this area, and we start to do work on that, we become abundant and more well-rounded in our abundance. It's important to recognize that, you have a relationship with abundance. So wherever you're lacking with abundance, the relationship with abundance in that area has a negative dialogue attached to it. And it's important that once you recognize that it's there, you work on that dialogue to help you kind of round out things. And you will notice, if you're like really high in abundance in one area and really low in another, as you work on this area here, this will rise and maybe this will come down. And so that's not anything to be worried about. It's you becoming more balanced. And balance, after you've balanced everything out, everything will begin to grow again. So as this comes up, this lowers down. But as they meet and everything across your life becomes even, they will all begin to grow at the same time. And so just keep that in mind. Look into your dialogue today when it comes to abundance. Do you feel abundant? Because you should. No matter your current situation, you should feel abundant, okay? I had a friend of mine that I just found out her house burned down. And what she found out from that experience was that although all of her physical things were damaged and she was suffering from massive anxiety, the outpouring of love and support that came out of her experiencing this was overwhelming to her. And she found out how many strong relationships, how many really appreciative relationships that she had in her life. And that really awakened her to something, a different experience in life, and a life that we can feel so disconnected all the time. And when sometimes social media feels like it's a negative thing, they've used social media to raise a ton of money for her to help her rebuild. And it is really inspiring to see how a person can, experience a struggle in one place, but experience an awakening in another. And that's oftentimes the way it is. We experience struggle so that we can awaken in another. And abundance is the same way. As you awaken in one area, you may struggle in another, and they may be directly connected. But just keep in mind, guys, it's all about balance. So find your weak areas and deal with them. And wherever you are tremendously abundant, focus all your energy on being grateful for that. And you will find over time, as you balance out the field of your abundance, they will all grow in equal time and in equal space. And it will be such a true, true blessing. Don't forget to pay it forward, and don't forget to share your abundance, guys, because really in all actuality, it's not about receiving. It's about obtaining resources to help those around you. Keep that in mind, guys. I love you very much. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I just wanted to say a quick thank you for bearing with me on a very rambly vlog, for me not having a quote today, and more than likely I won't have one again tomorrow because I'm going to focus my efforts on enjoying the last couple of days of my vacation. So However, if you liked something like this where I'm just really more so just talking as opposed to like trying to script things and trying to, you know, really work a well thought out dialogue or whatever into a video, if this is more comfortable for you, let me know. I would be glad to do more of these more often. I'll probably always develop some sort of scripts for most of my things, but this has been nice as well to not have to worry about all of that or saying things in a perfect way, but just being myself and just talking to you guys naturally. So anyway, with that, I'm gonna get this edited and get it out into the world for you guys to watch, and I will see you first thing tomorrow morning. Bye!